Welcome to the Bible Quiz and Trivia channel. Today, we're exploring the book of Joshua, testing your knowledge with 50 tough questions about its battles, leaders, and pivotal moments. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like this video to support our content. After the quiz, share your score in the comments. We love seeing how well you do. Are you ready? Let's get started. Question 1. Who succeeded Moses as the leader of Israel? A. Aaron. B. Joshua. C. Caleb. D. Eliezer. Answer: B. Joshua. Joshua, son of Nun, was appointed by God to succeed Moses as the leader of the Israelites. This transition of leadership is documented in Numbers 27:18-23, where God tells Moses to lay his hand on Joshua to commission him, indicating that Joshua was chosen to lead the people into the promised land. Question 2. What city's walls fell after the Israelites marched around them for 7 days? A. B. Bethel. C. Gibeon. D. Jericho. Answer: D. Jericho. The walls of Jericho fell after the Israelites marched around them for 7 days, as described in Joshua 6. On the 7th day, after marching around the city 7 times, the priests blew their trumpets and the people shouted, causing the city walls to collapse. Question 3. What was the miraculous event involving the Jordan River as the Israelites entered the Promised Land? A. The river dried up completely. B. The river turned to blood. C. The river parted, allowing them to cross on dry ground. D. The river flowed backwards. Answer: C. The river parted, allowing them to cross on dry ground. As the Israelites entered the Promised Land, the waters of the Jordan River stopped flowing and parted when the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant stepped into the river. This event is detailed in Joshua 3:14-17, mirroring the Red Sea crossing under Moses. Question 4. Who hid the 2 spies sent by Joshua to Jericho, and what was her profession? A. Deborah, a judge. B. Rahab, a prostitute. C. Miriam, a prophetess. D. Delilah, a weaver. Answer: B. Rahab, a prostitute. Rahab, a prostitute, hid the 2 spies sent by Joshua to scout Jericho. She is mentioned in Joshua 2:1-6, where she hides the spies under stalks of flax on her roof and misleads the city officials about their whereabouts. Question 5. What was the specific instruction given to the Israelites regarding the spoils of Jericho? A. Take nothing but food. B. Keep all gold and silver for the treasury of the Lord. C. Burn everything without taking anything. D. All spoils were to be considered sacred and devoted to God. Answer: D. All spoils were to be considered sacred and devoted to God. The instruction for the spoils of Jericho was that everything in the city was to be devoted to the Lord and completely destroyed, except for the silver, gold, bronze, and iron, which were to be added to the treasury of the Lord. This command is laid out in Joshua 6:17-19. Question 6. Which tribe of Israel received no land inheritance but instead was given cities? A. Judah. B. Levi. C. Ephraim. D. Benjamin. Answer: B. Levi. The tribe of Levi received no inheritance of land, but instead was given cities to live in, along with pastures for their flocks and herds. This is because the Levites were set apart to serve at the tabernacle, later the temple, as described in Joshua 13:14-33. Question 7. What was the consequence of Achan's sin after the Battle of Jericho? A. He was made a leader. B. He was exiled. C. He and his family were stoned. D. He was forgiven after repentance. Answer. C. He and his family were stoned. Achan's sin of taking devoted items from Jericho led to Israel's defeat at Ai. After confessing his sin, Achan, along with his family and possessions, were stoned to death as a consequence, as recorded in Joshua 7:24-26. Question 8. Which city did Joshua curse, declaring that it would be rebuilt at the cost of the rebuilder's firstborn and youngest son? A. Bethel. B. Eddy. C. Hazor. D. Jericho. Answer. D. Jericho. Joshua cursed Jericho, declaring that whoever rebuilt its foundations would do so at the cost of his firstborn son, and whoever set up its gates would lose his youngest son. This curse is noted in Joshua 6:26 and later fulfilled in 1 Kings 16:34 during the reign of Ahab. Question 9. What method did Joshua use to stop the sun during the battle in order to have more daylight? A. He prayed to God. B. He used a large mirror. C. He sang a psalm. D. He made a sacrifice. Answer. A. He prayed to God. Joshua prayed to God to stop the sun during the Battle of Gibeon so they could have more daylight to defeat their enemies. God answered his prayer, and the sun stopped in the middle of the sky. This miraculous event is recorded in Joshua 10:12-14. Question 10. What was the name of the covenant renewal ceremony location mentioned in Joshua? A. Gilgal. B. Shiloh. C. Shechem. D. Bethel. Answer. C. Shechem. Shechem is the location where Joshua renewed the covenant with Israel, reminding them of the laws given by Moses and calling for their commitment to serve God. This ceremony is detailed in Joshua 24-128. Question 11. How did the Gibeonites deceive Joshua and the Israelites? A. They pretended to be from a distant land. B. They claimed to be relatives of the Israelites. C. They offered gold and silver. D. They threatened war. Answer. A. They pretended to be from a distant land. The Gibeonites deceived Joshua and the Israelites by pretending to come from a distant land. They wore worn-out clothes and brought moldy bread to convince the Israelites that they had traveled a long distance, leading to a treaty that spared them from destruction. This incident is described in Joshua 9-3:15. Question 12. What object did the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh build by the Jordan River? A. A tower. B. An altar. C. A bridge. D. A monument. Answer. B. An altar. The tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh built an imposing altar by the Jordan River. This act initially caused concern among the other Israelites, who thought they were rebelling against God. The altar's purpose was to serve as a witness that they too were part of God's people, as explained in Joshua 22:10-34. Question 13. Name the place where Joshua set up 12 stones taken from the Jordan River. A. Meta Ebal. B. Gilgal. C. Meta Sinai. D. Jerusalem. Answer. B. Gilgal. Joshua set up 12 stones taken from the Jordan River at Gilgal. These stones served as a memorial to the miraculous crossing of the Jordan by the Israelites. The event and the establishment of the memorial are detailed in Joshua 4-19. Question 14. What was the challenge Joshua presented to the Israelites in his farewell speech? A. To choose whom they would serve. B. To build more altars. C. To return to Egypt. D. To conquer more lands. Answer: A. To choose whom they would serve. In his farewell speech, Joshua challenged the Israelites to choose whom they would serve, whether the gods their ancestors served beyond the Euphrates or the gods of the Amorites in whose land they were living, or the Lord. This challenge emphasizes the decision to serve God faithfully, as recorded in Joshua 24:15. Question 15. Which group of people were specifically appointed to be the carriers of the Ark of the Covenant as per God's command to Joshua? A. The priests. B. The warriors. C. The scribes. D. The judges. Answer: A. The priests. The priests, specifically those from the tribe of Levi, were appointed to carry the Ark of the Covenant. This designation emphasizes the sacredness of their role and the Ark itself, as God's presence was associated with the Ark. The instruction is found in Joshua 3:3, where the priests are commanded to carry the Ark into the Jordan River ahead of the people. Question 16. How many total cities of refuge are mentioned in the book of Joshua? A. 3. B. 6. C. 9. D. 12. Answer: B. 6. Joshua 20 describes the establishment of 6 cities of refuge. These cities provided asylum for individuals who accidentally committed manslaughter, allowing them a fair trial and protection from avengers of blood. Question 17. What was the significance of the city of Hebron to Caleb? A. It was his birthplace. B. He conquered it from the Anakim. C. It was a priestly city. D. It was where he retired. Answer: B. He conquered it from the Anakim. Caleb requested Hebron as his inheritance and drove out the 3 sons of Anak from there, as recorded in Joshua 14:12-14. This act demonstrated his faith and courage, fulfilling a promise made to him by Moses because of his faithfulness. Question 18. What unusual military tactic did Joshua employ in the battle against A? Night attack. B. Use of chariots. C. Ambush. D. Siege. Answer: C. Ambush. Joshua used an ambush to capture A. He stationed a group of soldiers behind the city to attack it during a feigned retreat by the main force, as detailed in Joshua 8-4-8. This tactic allowed them to take the city by surprise. Question 19. After the conquest of Canaan, how did Joshua distribute the land among the tribes of Israel? A. By drawing lots. B. By seniority. C. By military strength. D. By population size. Answer: A. By drawing lots. The land was distributed among the tribes by drawing lots, as described in Joshua 14:15. This method was used to ensure a fair and divinely guided allocation of the land inheritance. Question 20. Who was the king of Hazor, the leader of a northern coalition against Israel? A. Adoni-Zedek. B. Jabin. C. Oded. D. Sihon. Answer: B. Jabin. Jabin, the king of Hazor, led a coalition of northern kingdoms against Israel. His defeat by Joshua is significant as it marked the conquest of the northern part of Canaan, detailed in Joshua 11-110. Question 21. What spiritual practice did Joshua renew among the Israelite males at Gilgal? A. Sacrifices. B. Circumcision. C. Prayer rituals. D. Fasting. Answer: B. Circumcision. Joshua renewed the practice of circumcision at Gilgal as a sign of the covenant between the Israelites and God, which had not been performed during the wandering in the wilderness. This renewal is noted in Joshua 5-2-9. Question 22. What was Joshua's age at the time of his death? A. 80 years. B. 90 years. C. 110 years. D. 120 years. Answer C. 110 years. Joshua died at the age of 110, as recorded in Joshua 24:29. His age reflects a full life and marks the end of an era of direct leadership by those who had witnessed the miracles of the Exodus. Question 23. How many years did the land have rest from war during Joshua's leadership? A. 7 years. B. 10 years. C. 20 years. D. 40 years. Answer A. 7 years. The land had rest from war for 7 years under Joshua's leadership after the conquest of Canaan. This period allowed the Israelites to settle and establish themselves in the land, as mentioned in Joshua 11:23. Question 24. What role did the cities of refuge play in Israelite society? A. Military strongholds. B. Centers for trade. C. Sanctuary for accidental killers. D. Religious centers. Answer C. Sanctuary for accidental killers. The cities of refuge provided sanctuary for individuals who had killed someone accidentally, ensuring their protection from avengers until they could stand trial. This practice is outlined in Joshua 20:1-9. Question 25. What was the specific inheritance given to the daughters of Zelophehad? A. Livestock. B. Gold and silver. C. Land. D. Priestly duties. Answer C. Land. The daughters of Zelophehad were granted land as their inheritance, a notable exception in the patriarchal society of the time, due to their father having no sons. This is detailed in Joshua 17:3-6, highlighting the application of a law Moses had established. Question 26. What was the purpose of the large stones Joshua set up under the oak tree at Shechem? A. To mark the boundary of the land. B. To commemorate a battle victory. C. To serve as a witness of the covenant renewal. D. To honor fallen warriors. Answer C. To serve as a witness of the covenant renewal. Joshua set up large stones under the oak tree at Shechem as a witness to the covenant renewal between Israel and God. This act is recorded in Joshua 24:25-27, symbolizing their commitment to follow God's laws. Question 27. Which city became the inheritance for the high priest Eleazar? A. Shiloh. B. Hebron. C. Jericho. D. Gibeah. Answer B. Hebron. Hebron became the inheritance for the high priest Eleazar, as stated in Joshua 21:11-13. The city, along with its surrounding pasture lands, was given to the descendants of Aaron, serving as a city of refuge and a priestly city. Question 28. Who was responsible for the upkeep of the cities of refuge? A. The king. B. The local tribes. C. The Levites. D. The high priest. Answer C. The Levites. The Levites were responsible for the upkeep of the cities of refuge, as they were assigned to the Levites and served both religious and social functions. This arrangement is mentioned in Joshua 21. Question 29. How did Joshua handle the allocation of cities to the Levites? A. by personal selection. B, by prophetic directive. C, by drawing lots. D, by tribal consensus. Answer: C, by drawing lots. Similar to the allocation of land to the tribes, the cities given to the Levites, including the cities of Refuge, were also distributed by drawing lots. This method ensured fairness and divine guidance, as detailed in Joshua 21-1a. Question 30. What is the significance of Mount Ebal in the book of Joshua? A, it was where Joshua built an altar. B, it was where the law was first read in the Promised Land. C, it was the site of a major battle. D, it was the first place the Ark of the Covenant was set down. Answer: A, it was where Joshua built an altar. Joshua built an altar on Mount Ebal as commanded by Moses, and there they renewed the covenant, reading the blessings and curses of the law to all the people. This event, symbolizing obedience and commitment to God, is recounted in Joshua 8:30-35. Question 31. How did the tribe of Joseph react to the amount of land they were given? A, they were grateful and accepted it quietly. B, they requested more land due to their large population. C, they refused to take possession. D, they traded their portion with another tribe. Answer: B, they requested more land due to their large population. The tribe of Joseph felt their initial land allotment was insufficient due to their large numbers and requested additional territory. This interaction is described in Joshua 17, where Joshua challenges them to clear forested hillsides for more space. Question 32. What was Joshua's role in the division of the eastern territories? A, he had no part in it. B, he personally mapped out the territories. C, he ratified the decisions of tribal leaders. D, he supervised and approved the distribution. Answer: D, he supervised and approved the distribution. Joshua played a supervisory role in the division of the eastern territories, ensuring that the allocation was conducted fairly and in accordance with God's directives, as outlined in Joshua 13. Question 33. What was the last major military campaign led by Joshua? A, the conquest of Jericho. B, the Southern Campaign. C, the Northern Coalition Campaign. D, the campaign against the Philistines. Answer: C, the Northern Coalition Campaign. The last major campaign Joshua led was against a coalition of northern kings, centered around Hazor, which is detailed in Joshua 11. This decisive victory led to the stabilization of Israelite control over Canaan. Question 34. How did Joshua ensure the people's commitment to the covenant before his death? A, he threatened them with curses. B, he made them offer sacrifices. C, he had them renew the covenant at Shechem. D, he wrote a new set of laws. Answer: C, he had them renew the covenant at Shechem. Before his death, Joshua gathered the people at Shechem to renew their covenant with God, reminding them of their obligations and the history of God's blessings, as narrated in Joshua 24. This renewal was critical to reinforcing their commitment to God's laws. Question 35. What were the geographical boundaries of the land conquered under Joshua? A, from the Negev to the mountains of Lebanon. B, from the river Euphrates to the Great Sea. C, from the desert to the hills of Judea. D, from the river Nile to the river Jordan. Answer: A, from the Negev to the mountains of Lebanon. Under Joshua, the Israelites conquered lands extending from the Negev desert in the south to the mountains of Lebanon in the north, as described in Joshua 1-4 and 13-1-6. Question 36. How did the treatment of the Anakim by Joshua and the Israelites affect the region? A. It led to prolonged peace. B. It caused other tribes to ally against Israel. C. It struck fear into surrounding nations. D. It had no significant impact. Answer C. It struck fear into surrounding nations. The defeat of the Anakim, known for their stature and strength, by Joshua and the Israelites, sent a powerful message that instilled fear in surrounding nations, indicating the strength of Israel's God and their military capabilities, as noted in Joshua 11:21-23. Question 37. How did the book of Joshua contribute to the overall narrative of the Israelites' journey from Egypt to Canaan? A. It acted as a conclusion to the conquest. B. It served as a bridge between the law and the prophets. C. It detailed the legal system of Israel. D. It focused on the priesthood and religious rituals. Answer B. It served as a bridge between the law and the prophets. The book of Joshua serves as a crucial bridge in the biblical narrative, linking the wilderness wanderings and the law given through Moses with the subsequent establishment and struggles of the nation in Canaan, setting the stage for the era of the judges and the kings. Question 38. What was the significance of the altar built by the eastern tribes on their way back to their territories? A. It was to honor foreign gods. B. It was a symbol of rebellion. C. It served as a witness of their part in Israel. D. It marked the spot where they crossed the Jordan. Answer C. It served as a witness of their part in Israel. The altar built by the eastern tribes was intended as a witness to future generations that they shared in the heritage and worship of the Lord with their fellow Israelites, despite living on the opposite side of the Jordan. This event is elaborated in Joshua 22, highlighting the importance of unity and shared faith. Question 39. In what way did Joshua fulfill Moses' commands regarding the promised land? A. By conquering all the land Moses had seen. B. By redistributing the land among the priests. C. By establishing a monarchy. D. By writing the history of Israel. Answer A. By conquering all the land Moses had seen. Joshua fulfilled Moses' commands by leading the Israelites to conquer the land that Moses had only seen from afar, effectively carrying out the divine mandate given to Moses. This fulfillment is underscored throughout the book as Joshua takes leadership after Moses. Question 40. How did the presence of the Ark of the Covenant impact the crossing of the Jordan River? A. It caused the river to dry up. B. It had no effect on the river. C. It purified the water. D. It parted the waters like the Red Sea. Answer A. It caused the river to dry up. The presence of the Ark of the Covenant carried by the priests led to the miraculous drying up of the Jordan River, allowing the Israelites to cross on dry ground. This event is similar to the crossing of the Red Sea and is detailed in Joshua 3:13-17, emphasizing the ark's role as a tangible symbol of God's presence and power. Question 41. What prophecy was fulfilled by the capture and destruction of Jericho? A. That a great city would fall without a battle. B. That Israel would be victorious in all their battles. C. That the walls would fall at the sound of trumpets. D. That Jericho would never be rebuilt. Answer C. That the walls would fall at the sound of trumpets. The prophecy that Jericho's walls would fall at the sound of trumpets was fulfilled when the Israelites encircled the city for 7 days. And on the 7th day, after the priests blew their trumpets and the people shouted, the walls collapsed. This miraculous event is recorded in Joshua 6:20, demonstrating God's direct intervention in Israel's battles. Question 42. How did the treaty with the Gibeonites affect the political landscape of Canaan? A. It led to a lasting peace between the tribes. B. It isolated the Gibeonites from other Canaanite cities. C. It triggered a coalition of kings against Israel. D. It established a precedent for treaties with other nations. Answer C. It triggered a coalition of kings against Israel. The treaty with the Gibeonites, who deceived Joshua into making peace with them, triggered a coalition of other Canaanite kings to unite against Israel, fearing their growing power and the implications of internal alliances. This is elaborated in Joshua 10:1-5, illustrating the strategic complexities Joshua faced. Question 43. What warning did Joshua give to the Israelites about intermarriage with the Canaanite people? A. It would lead to economic hardship. B. It would result in losing their land. C. It would cause them to adopt idolatrous practices. D. It would make them physically weaker. Answer C. It would cause them to adopt idolatrous practices. Joshua warned the Israelites against intermarrying with the Canaanite people because it would lead them to adopt idolatrous practices and turn away from worshiping the Lord. This warning is part of his broader call to remain faithful to the covenant with God, as emphasized in his farewell addresses in Joshua 23-24. Question 44. How did Joshua address idolatry among the people in his farewell address? A. By ordering the destruction of all idols. B. By encouraging tolerance. C. By reminding them of the consequences of idolatry. D. By instituting new religious festivals. Answer C. By reminding them of the consequences of idolatry. In his farewell address, Joshua reminded the people of the severe consequences of idolatry, urging them to serve the Lord faithfully and reject the gods of the surrounding nations. His stern warnings are recorded in Joshua 24, where he challenges the people to choose whom they will serve. Question 45. What was unique about Joshua's burial site? A. It was on the highest mountain in Canaan. B. It was in the land of his inheritance, Timnath-Serah. C. It was beside the grave of Moses. D. It was unmarked to prevent idolatry. Answer B. It was in the land of his inheritance, Timnath-Serah. Joshua was buried in the land of his inheritance at Timnath-Serah in the hill country of Ephraim. This location is significant as it reflects his personal connection to the land he helped conquer and settle, as noted in Joshua 24:30. Question 46. How did Joshua's leadership compare with that of Moses? A. Joshua was more militaristic. B. Joshua was less faithful. C. Both were seen as equally important prophets. D. Moses was more focused on laws, while Joshua on conquests. Answer D. Moses was more focused on laws, while Joshua on conquests. While both leaders were crucial to the Israelites, Moses is more associated with receiving and teaching the law, and Joshua with leading the military conquests necessary to establish Israel and Canaan. This distinction highlights their complementary roles in the biblical narrative. Question 47. What legal and moral precedent did the case of the daughters of Zelophehad set in Israel? A. It affirmed women's rights to inherit land. B. It established a new form of government. C. It changed the laws of marriage. D. It led to the reform of the priesthood. Answer A. It affirmed women's rights to inherit land. The case of the daughters of Zelophehad set a significant legal and moral precedent by affirming women's rights to inherit land in the absence of a male heir. This decision, which Joshua implemented, is detailed in Numbers 27 to 111 and reaffirmed in Joshua 17, promoting principles of equity and justice within the community. Question 48. How is the faithfulness of God demonstrated in the book of Joshua? A. Through the long lifespans of the people. B. Through the miracles performed during battles. C. Through the provision of manna. D. Through the peaceful reign over Canaan. Answer B. Through the miracles performed during battles. The faithfulness of God is demonstrated in the book of Joshua through various miracles, such as the parting of the Jordan River and the collapse of Jericho's walls, which underscore his active presence and commitment to fulfilling his promises to the Israelites. Question 49. What are the main themes of leadership and warfare in the book of Joshua? A. Diplomacy and trade. B. Divine guidance and courageous leadership. C. Economic strategies and alliances. D. Technological advancements in warfare. Answer B. Divine guidance and courageous leadership. The main themes in the book of Joshua revolve around divine guidance and courageous leadership. Joshua's role exemplifies how leadership, rooted in obedience to God, leads to successful outcomes, particularly in military contexts, as the Israelites conquer and settle in Canaan. Question 50. How did Joshua's actions and decisions set the stage for the era of the judges in Israel? A. By establishing a monarchy. B. By weakening tribal unity. C. By leaving a power vacuum. D. By enforcing the law and setting moral standards. Answer D. By enforcing the law and setting moral standards. Joshua's actions and decisions, especially his emphasis on covenant faithfulness and obedience to the law, set moral and spiritual standards that influenced the subsequent era of the judges. His leadership helped shape the national identity and religious commitment of Israel, although the lack of a centralized government led to challenges, as depicted in the book of Judges.